think that's a wonderful example of the opportunities that the technology affords. We can be sitting here and having a multi-stakeholder dialogue around, is this working? Yes. Around internet governance issues and Dubai, and we have the opportunity to have the world hear that. But before that, let me thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, to Hamadun Toure, to Luigi, to the entire team. It's really a privilege to be part of this dialogue. While we're having this conversation here, the work is continuing around what people took away from Dubai, but also around other areas around internet policy. I noticed on a different hashtag, actually, that there's currently in Switzerland a Wicked Digest discussion as well. I think it's a wonderful thing to see that we're having discussions in many different forums. It's also an example, though, that the work continues among all the different stakeholder groups and entities, and that there's a serious discussion on how to address some of the challenges that were raised prior to Dubai, in Dubai, and obviously subsequent. But what's at the center of all these discussions is really users and consumers, and how do we ensure the innovative business models and moving that towards the future for the next generations. And how do we enable things like e-health and e-education and all the E's that have come up in the discussions. And how do we ensure that we don't create barriers to those opportunities at a time when things are still evolving very quickly? It's been noted that, internet time is sometimes so short, but things are moving quite quickly. So as a business for Verizon, we use our networks and services to provide powerful answers. But like many others, we're also in a period of transformation on many fronts. And frankly, I'm not sure I know of any industry that's not in some form of transformation and trying to look at how to engage. ICT and the technology touches almost every industry in the world that we know of, whether it's oil and gas or whether it's anything, frankly, detergent. It doesn't matter what it is at this point. So for us, Beyond Dubai is really looking at this new environment and moving away from international regulations that might prevent some of these opportunities, and instead really returning to connecting people and ideas and strengthening that area. And we're in a period for innovative uses of technology, not for locking into a single way. And we need to keep the public interest in mind. So we got to this ability, the opportunity to print our boarding passes on a mobile device, or to communicate with our loved ones, or do our banking online, or to hear the Twitter exchanges, as we heard before, through a decentralized system of the internet's architecture. And with that came a decentralized system of institutions and organizations that have different responsibilities. And over time, there was an evolution towards cooperation, coordination, and collaboration. And some of the prior speakers touched on the importance to strengthen this cooperation and collaboration, for institutions to look at themselves and identify how they can better evolve and serve the needs and address the issues that have arisen. Mustafa had raised, the what, where, who, how. I think that's an incredibly useful approach to looking at a variety of issues, where they're being addressed, and how to partner better amongst each other in order to solve many of the issues that are at stake in a rapid environment, so we can actually respond to what's happening rapidly. So when we look at the global agenda, I think it's important to focus on accelerating expansion of broadband, especially in the mobile area and devices, but also preserving the flexible and enabling environment for the internet, and we hear the term multi-stakeholder, but really engaging all stakeholders together to find the best solutions. This evolution and collaboration has existed for many, many, many years. We can give examples prior to the Tunis Agenda and subsequent to the Tunis Agenda, whether it's the establishment of internet exchange points in countries, or the OECD principles on ICT policymaking, or reports out of the OECD and UNESCO and ISOC on content and access and the interlinking there, or the formation of UN system dialogues, whether it's the WCIT and at the ITU, or the CSTD working groups for improvements around the Internet Governance Forum, or addressing enhanced cooperation. We've seen the evolution of national and regional internet governance forums. We've seen the establishment of addressing multilingualism, including with the introduction of internationalized domain names in order to enhance content around the world. And last week in Paris, there was the WCIT Plus 10 review process, again, addressing what we've accomplished over the past years, which again identified multi-stakeholder approaches as important. Samina meeting was touched upon about the digitization program. My point is really that the dialogue is here and now, and Beyond Dubai is happening as we sit here. And so just to conclude, really the key points for public policy to encourage the investment and reach the balance that we need to reach is looking at how to improve and work with the dispersed cooperative governance models and increase that cooperation. Establish a test for regulatory intervention, really that unless there's a demonstrable harm to the consumer or to competition, that we need to be careful about where government needs to intervene. And I think Eric and others had said we need to move slowly. We need to really be cautious about some of these areas. The internet ecosystem breaks down barriers to geography, and we really need to tap into the opportunities there while respecting culture and national boundaries and sovereignty. So the post-Dubai environment exists. It's here and now. There's clearly issues that need to be addressed, and these should be addressed at home, regionally, and internationally, and in a multi-stakeholder approach, as we have a responsibility to the next innovator, the next generation, to job growth and creation and social and economic opportunities for everybody. So with that, I hope this contribution is useful. Thank you.